Hi, this is Linda Welsh from Linda Welsh Realty Group at Compass. Thanks for joining me today. I wanted to chat with you a little bit about a question that often comes up when there's either been terrible storms or some sort of a natural disaster, but also sometimes when there just happens to be something that happens to a home when it's under contract of lesser nature. So we're going to cover a few of those different things. First thing to think about is to really look at your contract. Every state has different contracts, but there usually is a clause in there that designates what can happen or what will happen if you have a substantial loss during the period of time when you're under contract or in escrow. And some of those things might be a major thing like damage which cannot be repaired, in which case chances are the buyer and seller are going to cancel the contract. And that's not going to be a problem and you should get your earnest money back. The second thing that can happen is that if you have a loss that is repairable, you need to assess the damage, have the seller call the insurance company and find out what the costs are and what work needs to be done to bring the home back into the same type of condition that it was when it went under contract. Then the buyer has some options. The buyer can choose to not go forward with the contract, or the contract could be extended in order for the repairs to be done while it's still owned by the seller, using the proceeds from insurance and whatever deductible that the seller needs to come up with as well. Or they could decide, and it may be feasible, for those funds from the insurance company to be transferred over to a new buyer. This is when we oftentimes see money held in escrow by the title company or an attorney, if you're in an attorney state, in order to cover those costs. I can tell you firsthand, I had a situation like that myself when we purchased our home 20 years ago. We had a situation where there was obvious water damage to the home. It wasn't serious water damage, but it was enough that some remediation needed to be done, and we needed to take down the front of the house and replace all the windows, put them back up, put the stonework back up. So it was a rather major job, but we did withhold about 150% of what the projected cost could be, because obviously when you open up walls and you tear up floors and things of that sort, a lot of times you find damage that you didn't even know existed. And so you need to have a cushion there. So the buyer has the option when there's any major damage or significant damage to back out of the contract in most cases, and the seller can most likely will fix the damage, or you may be able to extend the contract for closing if it's agreeable to all parties. So make sure that you read your contract. If necessary, you may need to consult an attorney and make sure that the insurance is well aware of what's going on. There are another couple of things to talk about. One of them is your clue report. So there's always a clue report that goes along with any property that's insured. That means that if there's significant damage, there's going to be a paper trail of what's happened to this home and what insurance claims have been filed. Now, be careful if there are more than two water issues, and it could be anything from a flood in the house or a major pipe burst to something as minor as maybe something water damage to a bathroom cabinet or whatever. If you filed insurance for that, it may go against you in the long run because you may have maxed out your allowable water damage claims over a 2-year period, which could make it difficult for the new buyer to get insurance. Insurance is another whole issue we're dealing with in a lot of places across the country. I can tell you that a lot of parts of the country, including Austin, Texas, where we are worried about fires, and a lot of times parts of the country are worried about floods and wind damage. Primarily California, Louisiana, Florida, parts of Texas. This is a major issue. So you need to be cognizant of those risks and the costs that may go along with that. There are many insurance companies that are pulling out of certain markets, so make sure that you can get insurance coverage for where you are. If you find that the previous carrier is willing to transfer the policy over to the new buyer, that may be one consideration. But there are also some carriers who have decided not to do business in certain parts of the country. So just be cautious about that when you're purchasing in those areas. Again, this is Linda Welsh from Linda Welsh Realty Group, and I would love to help you with your questions about your property sales or purchases. And if you can give me a call or contact me by email or text message, I would love to help you. My number is 512-657-4033. Hope you have a great day.